What's up guys? My name is Claire, and in this video I'm going to be talking about backgrounds for product photography and food photography. When it comes to photography backgrounds, it can sometimes be difficult to figure out which background will be right for you depending on your needs and your budget. This video is basically a compilation of my favorite backgrounds that I like to use, along with the pros and cons to each of them, because none of them are really perfect. So let's get started. So the first kind of backdrop that I'm going to be talking about are these lovely vinyl backdrops from a business called Club Backdrops. Now, there's lots of different businesses today that make these like vinyl style backdrops, but Club Backdrops are my favorite. Some pros about these vinyl backdrops. To start off, first of all, they're beautiful. They come in so many different colors, like solid colors to gradients to textures or patterns like tile, wood. This is like a sandstone. This one's like a terrazzo. So these are just a few of what I own. But again, they come in all different sorts of colors and styles, which is great in my opinion. Another thing that I love about these vinyl backdrops is the fact that they are reusable. If you get them wet or for styling with food and you get food on them, it's not the end of the world. You just wipe and clean them off and they will survive for your next shoot, which is great. Another pro that I love about these things is the fact that they are easy to store. They are lightweight, not too cumbersome with their size, and they roll up easily for storage and transport like this. Ta-da! Another great thing about these backdrops from Club Backdrops, if you need a specific color for a project or for whatever reason, you can send the color code or numbers to Club Backdrops and they will print you out your own color. So I thought that's pretty cool. When it comes to cons for these vinyl backdrops, I don't really have much to say other than I wish they came in more sizes, perhaps. Maybe like a larger size would be cool someday. Who knows? But other than that, the only thing is they're a little pricey. So when you have to buy a lot of them, it does add up. So I think cost is the main con. But overall, these backdrops are awesome. Perhaps my most favorite to use out of like all the backdrops ever. And if you'd like to try them out, I have a code. If you're a first-time customer at Club Backdrops and make a purchase with this code, you should get a free backdrop. I believe so. And that code should be down below. Moving on. Next, I'm going to be talking about these seamless paper rolls from Savage brand, that is. To start off, these seamless paper rolls are awesome because they come in so many different sizes and colors. So sometimes the rolls are like really short. Sometimes you can get them really long if you're photographing like lots of people or a very large product or item. You can use a very large backdrop, which is pretty cool. These seamless papers are great for all different kinds of photography too. Whether you're shooting product or food and need to do like a top-down shot, you can definitely do that on this paper, or you can have the paper sweeping onto a table surface and be shooting a product to where it has like that infinite background kind of feel to it. So in addition to shooting like food and product, this paper is also great for portraits, whether you need to have like a big roll of paper for someone standing or some headshots maybe. This stuff is great for that. So some of the cons of using these paper rolls, unfortunately, if you happen to get any sort of water or liquid on this paper, you are instantly screwed. Hate to break it to you, but you will have to likely cover that spot up, deal with it in post, which just fix it in present and it'll be fine. Or you can just fix it in post, whatever you want to do. Anyways, or you're gonna have to like roll the paper out, cut it off, and set your scene again, which may stink, depending on time and other factors. But anyways, there's that. This paper also easily gets scratched, so it's sensitive is basically what I'm getting at. Okay, in addition, This paper isn't exactly sustainable. Unfortunately, it is paper, so there's that. But compared to like a vinyl background, each time you use this paper, you're likely going to get it dirty and you're going to have to cut it off and use up more of your paper. So ultimately, if you keep shooting with these, one day you will have to buy more. So there's that. Another thing I'll mention for this seamless paper, if you're shooting like really tight, or maybe you're shooting with like a macro lens and you see the background, you will likely see some kind of papery texture. May bother you, may not. Just putting that out there. And the final con that I will say about these seamless paper rolls is the fact that they are annoying to an extent. They're just not my favorite anymore because they take up a lot of space in studio. They have to be stored upright to maintain their shape. And depending on what kind of car you drive and how big the seamless paper roll can be cumbersome to travel with and just have. So anyways, these are kind of like old reliable, but I guess I just don't use them that much anymore, but they're still great. So good to have in your arsenal. Let's see. The final thing I'll say about using seamless paper, if you want to use seamless paper, you will likely have to invest in a background stand to use it, which is fine because these background stands can be used for all different sorts of things. The stands can be doubled as light stands, and you can hang other stuff from this telescopic beam in the middle. So I'll leave links for that. Just throwing that out there. All right, and moving on. We're rolling. Okay. Alrighty, guys, moving on to background number 3 that I will be talking about, and that is this guy right here. This is the lovely particle board. Or at least I think that's what it's called. So this is made of wood of sorts, and it's found at like Home Depot or Lowe's. This also says like MDF board. I'm not sure what the difference is. I'm so sorry. I'm not a carpenter or a woodworker or anyone with that kind of knowledge. I'm a mere photographer. But anyways, it's like a solid piece of wood, this particle board, and not too thick. And these make for great backdrops. The first thing that I will say about why particle board is so great is the fact that it is completely customizable. And by that, I mean you can paint it whatever color you want, any color, maybe multiple colors, or maybe a design. So that kind of creative control is like endless when it comes to using this as a backdrop. Another great thing about particle board is the fact that it is like sturdy and flat. So by that, I mean like it's a reliably flat surface. So you can like set things on here and it's going to be safe. And you can also use it as like a background like this. And prop that up. So yeah, compared to like a vinyl background, that would be like flimsy or would need extra support, this can stand up on its own, which is refreshing. Okay, so moving on to some cons for this particle board. One, it's a little, I don't want to say cumbersome. It can just get annoying for storage just because it's not like weightless, but it's dense, it's wood. So just some thoughts to keep in mind as you're building up your background kit. So yeah, it's going to take up some space. So another con of using this particle board, you are going to have to, 1, invest, and 2, do like the labor that it takes to DIY your own background. So by that, I mean, you're going to have to also pay for the cost of purchasing like sandpaper to sand it down. You're also going to need paint of sorts and hopefully a primer, which can cost more money. And you're also going to need a paintbrush or a roller of sorts. So again, a little bit more money and the time and labor to paint your own background. Okay, and the final thing that I will say about using particle board as a background, unless you are a carpenter or like a woodworker with amazing craftsmanship, you're likely going to have some texture when you make this background. By that I mean like I had texture from the wood itself, just a tiny bit, but even more texture from when I painted it with just the rollers and some brushes. So just letting you know that it will not be like a flawless surface, but I like the texture that I had, so maybe you'll like it too. Anyways, that's the particle board. Okay, friends. So the final backdrop that I'm going to be talking about today is fabric backdrops. Now, when I say fabric backdrops, I mean any kind of fabric. These are cloth napkins, and I've used these as a background before. They're great. Used it to fake a tablecloth. It was awesome. But yeah, I literally mean you can use any kind of fabric, whether it's a blanket, a curtain, a scarf, a napkin, again, tablecloth. Maybe it's just a scrap of fabric you bought from like Joann's, or maybe it's something very specific. But you can get them in all different kinds of shapes, colors, and sizes and textures. And with that being said, fabric is beautiful, and it can add some really unique like texture and like movement to an image, which I personally think is pretty cool. So in addition to fabric being awesome for the fact that you can find so many different styles and colors and shapes and stuff like that, one really great thing is how easily it stores, how flat and light fabric can be to keep compared to other kinds of backgrounds. So there's that. And when it comes to like the cons of using a fabric background, depending on if it's like cotton like this or something similar, it may get wrinkly in storage. And for it to look nice, it may be worth it to invest in a steamer to style your fabric to make it looking as nice as possible. In a pinch, I've used a hair straightener, or you can even try a dryer for a little bit of time. Probably don't try the hair straightener thing like I did. All right, guys, that is all for now. Basically, what I hope you take away from this video is that there's all different kinds of backgrounds out there for product and food photography, and you just basically got to find what works best for you, your needs, and your budget. I personally think it's great to have a mix of these kinds of backgrounds in your studio ready to go, so depending on what you need, you can pull it out and have it on the fly. But ultimately, just explore and figure out which brands and styles work best for you, and go from there. Yeah. If you happen to have any questions about any of these backgrounds that I talked about, leave me a comment below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.